On Two Wheels this week, Jeff finds out how to tune an engine. Tommy Topbox talks about all that's weird and wonderful in biking, and Wayne looks at helmets. But first, a spot of cruising. This is supposed to be summer, and I'm still wearing my big jacket, I can't believe it, but it will get warmer soon, I believe. Now, what do you see loads of in summer and not very many of the rest of the year? Morris Minors with nodding dogs on the back shelf, yeah. Ford Mondeos with caravans attached on all the decent back roads, and of course loads and loads of bikes. If you add sunshine and bikes together, for many people the image is one of open-faced helmets, sunglasses, high handlebars and V-twin cruisers, just like this. A few years ago, buying a cruiser would have meant buying perhaps a Harley Davidson, or maybe even a Harley Davidson. You see, because then there wasn't anything like the choice that's available today. Now everybody's making them, well, almost. Certainly Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki and Suzuki all have a dedicated range of cruisers. And this is just one of the bunch of Suzukis on offer, the VZ800 Marauder. It's an 805cc high compression V-twin engine, which Suzuki say has been tuned for throttle response and acceleration. Single overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder. And it's written to be a very efficient engine because it's got a TSCC cylinder head. Now that stands for, in case you didn't know, twin swirl combustion chamber. Sounds very impressive. Don't ask me how it's supposed to work, but it sounds good, doesn't it? It's water cooled, nice neat radiator there, fits nice and snugly between the front down tubes of the frame, double cradle steel frame, 5-speed gearbox, chain drive, basic stuff, single disc on the front, drum brake on the back. Nothing fancy, no fancy gizmos, but it does the job perfectly well. Remember, it's a cruiser. That means a low seat. The seat height of an average sports bike is probably something like 830mm or thereabouts. The seat on this Marauder is just 700mm from the ground. Ideal for people with short legs, but not uncomfortable for the rest. I'm about 6 foot, and quite honestly, I could sit there all day. It's not just low, it's also very long. With a wheelbase of 1645mm, it's at least a couple of hundred longer than your more common sports bike. You might think that would make it difficult to manoeuvre in a confined space, but it's actually got a very good lock, and it handles surprisingly well at low speeds. A low seat helps to keep a low centre of gravity, and it also means you haven't got far to fall if the unthinkable should occur. And while we're on the subject of seats, this one actually comes off dead easy. Key in there, unlock it, and that comes up like that. You've got a little storage box there, little being the word. You wouldn't exactly get a week's shopping in there, but you'd get 1 or 2 bits and pieces. And the other seat, the pillion seat, if you don't fancy taking anybody else for a ride, a couple of bolts there, one at the back, that comes off, and you've got a nice, trendy looking single seat cruiser. Of course, the most striking thing with any custom machine is the vast amounts of chrome. You've got chromed all sorts, cylinder head covers, engine casings, headlamp, speedo, you name it. If it can be chromed, it has been, including this nice staggered exhaust system. Looks really smart, but I have to say I think that is probably the biggest letdown of the bike. It just doesn't sound right. And you'll hear many people say that the Japanese customs look every bit as good, if not better sometimes, than a Harley Davidson, but they just don't sound right. They don't make enough noise, simply down to personal preference. The Marauder isn't the fastest thing on 2 wheels, but it isn't meant to be. And in fact, push it a little bit too hard and the pegs soon ground out in the corners. Cruisers are meant to be comfortable, relaxed, easy to ride and good for posing, and it does all of those things perfectly well. The biggest plus for this particular bike is the price. Just a touch over £5,000 buys you all of this chrome. And this is just one of a massive range of Japanese cruisers now on the market. They're nice if you can be bothered to keep them clean. I can't, so I'm taking this back before it rains.
Oh, give over, Carl. Aaron, what a dummy, eh? Oh, there we are. We're here in Wayne's warehouse. This is the boardroom, and I'm just talking to my research and designers. Yes, a right pair we've got here. The idea of Wayne's warehouse is to bring to you just about everything there is to do with motorcycling. Everything but bikes. That's the clothing, the helmets, the boots, the accessories, the luggage, securities, just you name it, everything but bikes. So, let's get on with it. So then, boss, what's the first thing this week then? I'll tell you what we're going to do this week. We're going to do crash helmets, because at the top of the list you have to wear them. It's compulsory whether you want to or not. So then, pay attention at home. Crash helmets. S-T-I-F-F-Y. Stiffy. That's one thing straight. So, safety type, image, fit, full face, your choice. Full face, that's only one, the most popular one, of absolutely dozens of different types, and that's what we're going to talk about this week, the different types. Well, thanks very much, Wayne. Well, this is many of the different types here. That's your custom style that you might use on a cruiser or something. Maybe the British biker might like this one, matte black, or even the Harley lads. That's an open face one, but it includes the visor, flips up and down, and a peak, all in the one type, maybe for your scooter and shopper type. Same type of configuration with a visor and a peak all in one, but on a full face. That could be used for your off-road bikes, your trail bikes, that type of thing that goes road and off-road. But for the real off-road user, the proper motocross style version, and that's that baby. And then finally, your proper full face helmet. That's them. I mean, you see these on every shelf, don't you? Of all different shapes, sizes and colours. Oi, what are you doing with that? Flipping heck. Anyway, that's a general summary of the various different types of helmets for different types of users. Well, thanks very much, Wayne. That was a good summary of the various different types that you can buy. But this thing, full face, now that is the most popular type. And these things can vary from 45 quid up to 450 quid or even more. Next time, I'll show you 3 different ones at 3 different price categories.
My bike's faster than yours. No, it ain't. Yes, it is. How many times have you heard this argument in the bars across the country? And a term often used to describe the speed of one's bike is, my bike's like the proverbial off a shovel. But just exactly how fast is that? Tonight, I hope to demonstrate this with the aid of a stopwatch, a tape measure, and of course a shovel. We'll just determine how fast that is. Of course, I need the aid of the proverbial as well. As they say in the finest tradition of children's broadcasting, here's one we prepared earlier. Actually, it's one of Paul Johnston's. Apparently he's so full of it, I didn't do enough to spare. Seems a shame to waste it, really. Who cares how fast that is anyway? That's good shit, man.
In the news this week, a leading motorcycle insurance firm has recently analysed over 600 accident claims and cite that in over 60% of cases, the biker was not responsible. Responsibility for a staggering 88% of non-fault accidents, those for which the biker was not to blame, was down to the four-wheeled fraternity. And another insurance survey has revealed the forenames of those motorists who make the most claims. It seems that Jasons, Darrens and Kevins are the highest risk, whilst Ronalds, Kenneths and Patricias are definitely a safe bet. And coming up after the break, Jeff takes an in-depth look at engine tuning, and our new feature Metalhead gives you the chance to get your biking gripes off your chest.
Now, bike tuning, a black art to some people. I'm on a Blackbird. This one happens to be a Yellowbird. But in fact, this has been tuned and breathed on. It's been bored out to 1200cc. It's got new cams, it's got slip-on cans, it's been dynajetted and gas flowed. Quite a neat bike. In fact, it's a very smooth running bike. What it's done is taken out that hole that you can get on a Blackbird, about 70, 80 miles an hour. That's now gone, and you can go up to X zillion miles an hour. But anyway, we're at TTS Tuning near Silverstone, and that's where this bike was tweaked. We're going to have a word with the owner and just see what tuning's all about, what is involved, and how you can make your bike go that little bit faster and a bit smoother. Richard, this titanium rod is a beautiful piece of work. I wouldn't mind it on my coffee table, actually. I mean, it's really nice to behold and sort of feel the thing, isn't it? But that's not the only titanium part that you'd use in an engine, would it? What other component parts can you use?
In a full race engine, such as the factory motors that we build, where money's not the object, then we'll use titanium conrods, we'll use titanium valves, titanium valve retainers, magnesium covers.
A lot of lightweight.
All the lightweight parts, which the general racer won't be able to afford.
No. And how important is it on the valves then to? I see we've got a couple there. This one, that's the titanium, is it, as against the standard model?
That's right.
It's actually, you can feel it's heavier.
Although it's a very light component to start with, you can still
right.
feel the difference. And it is. It's about 2/3 the weight, as we can show.
And what's the seat? I see there's no indentation either, it's just a flat top valve.
The idea is to get the optimum compression out of the engine, so by having a flat top valve, not only does it give more compression, but it gives a better combustion volume.
All right.
The shape of the chamber is much tidier.
Okay. And sort of weight-wise then, can you show us how operate your machine then? Show us the difference between the two.
It's a standard Suzuki valve at 20.8 grams.
Yeah.
And that comes in at 13.2.
Yeah.
So like I say, it's only 2/3 the weight. This enables the motor to rev much higher without stronger valve springs, so we're keeping the losses down in the engine to make the engine perform much better.
So much for engine lightning, but what about different stages of tune?
If somebody says they want a stage 1 tune, I generally accept that. They don't really want to do any serious tuning. They're just looking at external components that they bolt to their motorcycle, like an exhaust can, different carburation setup, different air filters, things that make the engine breathe better, so perform accordingly.
But nothing dramatic?
Nothing dramatic, not delving your hands into the engine, not pulling the engine apart. That way it keeps the cost down, it's a reliable form for the guy on the street, and it's very easy to put back to standard if he wants to sell the bike in the future. Stage 2, you're looking at getting some more compression out of the motor, so that means the top end of the engine has to be stripped. We skim the cylinder head, we slot the cam sprockets, build the motor back together, dial the camshafts in with more compression, and that's it. That's a stage 2.
Right.
If you go to stage 3, then you're looking for more than that. You're looking for a lot more power. So a big ball conversion is the ideal way to go for the guy on the street. Gives a lot more mid-range torque, which is acceleration, and it makes the bike all round more tractable because it's a bigger capacity. No substitute for cubes.
No, the old American say, I was going to say that. And then what next then? Where do you go to then?
Then you're looking at camshafts, gas flow in the cylinder head, and as the stages go on, the amount of horsepower you gain for the amount of work involved becomes less and less. So like when we've talked about the race motors, you put an awful lot of money in just to get the last edge of horsepower. Going to stage 4, you'd look at different carburetors and different filters and a full race exhaust system.
You mentioned gas flowing as part of a stage 3 tune. What does that actually involve? What is it?
Gas flowing is getting the most air through the port into the combustion chamber in the most efficient way. So it's not always the size of the port, it's the shape of the port.
Right. And is this a standard head? Have you done any work on this one yet?
No, this is totally standard head, and as you can see, the port shape is very good to start with. The finish on it, in my mind, is something to be desired. So we improve the finish on the port. We don't do a great deal to the shape of the port, but we do spend a lot of time in the valve area and where the valve seat sinks into the head and the combustion chamber.
Right. And then how do you know when you've got it right? Have you got any fancy computers or whatnot, or do you suck it and see?
There's a black art to porting
gas
gas flowing. We found that the only true test is on the dynamometer.
Right.
If we're making more power, we've done a good job. There's flow benches that are used. Flow benches don't simulate what's happening inside an engine, but they do give a good indication to how much flow is going through the valve.
Right, but it's not the same as running it up to peak rev.
No.
So it's quite a job, isn't it? You do that, and then you have to literally assemble the engine, run it up, and think, oh, we haven't quite got that right, and strip it down again.
That's right.
Yeah? This is where your experience comes in.
That's right. With the factory engines this year on the 750 Suzukis, we spent 2 weeks just dyno testing and porting
Did you?
Just to get the optimum out of the cylinder head.
And if you've taken too much out, it starts again.
You throw it away.
Now, if you're not into heavy tuning mods, you can still have bolt-on power with a nice little nitrous oxide kit. For £450, you can have 60 brake horsepower at the touch of a button. A nitrous kit gets you extra oxygen into the engine from a rechargeable bottle and lots of braided hoses. If that's the gas, what about the bangs? A fully adjustable electronic ignition system giving you control over the timing and rev limits will give you 3 to 5 brake and cost you around £300. Machining components is a high-tech business too, so computer control kit is the order of the day, and it's not just for engines. Richard mentioned chassis components, and this is one of them. There's a standard Suzuki top yoke off a 1200 Bandit. Here's the CNC machine one. All the milling marks left on there to look super trick, and as you can see, nicely hollowed out there. Much heftier as well. Really looks the business. But he's a modest guy. What he didn't tell me about is these other components as well. You see this big block of alloy here? They actually machine out of there fuel injection throttle bodies. You can see a set there. Each one of those is milled out of the solid. But just parking that for a while, see this great big block of aluminium there? Out of that, you get a new block. Look at that. What a beautiful piece of work. Another coffee table ornament. But there's a lightweight one. No liquid cooling on that one. That would be for a drag bike. And just to compare it, here's the standard Suzuki one, complete with the water jackets, all black and not looking half as pretty. But now we've had a look at that, they've also got a very, very tasty Gsxr 750 Suzuki, and I'm going to have a look at that next. Well, Dave Hagan here, he's the workshop manager, and this beautiful Suzuki is his little project. Been a project for 12 months or so, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a long runner.
But tell us, starting with the engine, what is so special about this one?
Well, it's basically everything a 97 Superbike was, except that it's 800cc. So it produces similar kind of levels of horsepower in terms of peak horsepower, but with lots more grunt, more torque.
Yeah, and and you were saying earlier when we were chatting, this will actually detuned a bit for sort of pump petrol as well.
Yeah, that's right. We have to back off the compression a little bit because the race machines run on super high octane racing fuels. Yeah, which obviously
you can't get at your local petrol station. Yes. So, and what else? And you've got into a lot of chassis mods as well. So take us through from the front end. I can see lots of trick bits just sort of staring me in the face.
Yeah, well, just about everything on the bike has been modified, but starting from the ground up, if you like. Yeah. It runs a set of lightweight magnesium wheels. The suspension has been changed both front and rear. The front end runs a set of White Power Roma forks. All the bodywork is carbon fibre. There's a lot of factory parts on it. Most of the headlight cluster, the meter assembly, that's all factory endurance stuff from Suzuki. Obviously a lot of one-off stuff that we've had to manufacture ourselves. The radiator, for instance, is a direct copy of the factory item.
Is it?
But instead of paying the factory in excess of £8,000 for their item, we've manufactured our own for a fraction of the cost.
But still mega money though.
Still a lot of money in normal people's terms, yes.
Yeah. And what you were saying earlier, the clip-on bars are one-offs as well. It's almost all, it looks the same, but it's almost all one-offs, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of thought gone into trying to save weight where we can, make things stronger where they need to be, lighter where we can get away with it. The all-up dry weight of the bike is a little under 164 kilos, which is a significant weight saving over stock. Yeah. And only 2 kilos higher than the World Superbike regulation weight.
It's absolutely amazing. And one of the things is this beautiful piece of work, this tank, which I didn't know until you told me, but aluminium.
Yes, handcrafted from aluminium. It's again, it's a copy of the factory item, which is significantly more expensive and made from pure unobtainium. Yeah. Again, it's just all in the pursuit of making something that's the ultimate Gsxr for the road, if you like.
That's right, with aircraft fasteners and all the rest of it. It's brilliant.
There's a lot of effort's been put into making it as light as possible and as pretty as well. Although the paintwork is a little understated, some would say, I think it suits the bike well.
I'll tell you what, it nearly matches my suit. So does it go as good as it looks?
Oh, it goes better than it looks.
Oh, does it? Oh, in that case, I'll take it out for a quick spin if that's all right. Okay, I'll be back sometime later today.
Go on then.
Thanks, Dave. Now the lanes around Silverstone are not best suited to a highly strung 180 mph bike like this. It's like having red rum and a milk round. But even in this short run, the urgency in the 800cc motor was there alright. Champing at the bit, it was a good job that the brakes and suspension matched the potential of this £30,000 superbike. Given its head on the open road, I've no doubt that this very special Suzuki will be absolutely electrifying.
This is Metalhead, your chance to get the shit off your chest.
Right, yo, welcome to Metalhead. This is your chance just to have a rant, rave and just generally tell everyone what pisses you off about biking.
This is Metalhead. With the government having problems with the transport now, why do they make it so damn expensive to pass your test, deterring people from going on two wheels? If everyone rode a scooter like this, there'd be no multi-storey car parks, no need for them. As it is, the roads are just congested with morons in cars who aren't safe, half of them.
Right, my big gripe here is insurance, right? I'm a scooter rider and it costs me 150 quid for insure that heap of pile of crap over there what I've got, right? My mate pays another 30 quid and he gets a CBR 1000 insured, fully comp, all that. It's about time people come together, knock this insurance like on the head and got it really what it's worth, you know what I mean, man? Instead of paying 200 quid. I've got a pie in my mouth. Sorry, mate. I'm not going any further with this. End of story.
This is Metalhead.
This is Metalhead reporting from a field in the middle of nowhere, your chance to air your views.
Hello, my name's Peter and this is Metalhead. And I'm sick and tired of people mistaking scooters for mopeds. If anybody says that my scooter is a moped again, I'm going to smash them. Thank you very much.
What pisses me off about four-wheel drivers, when they're coming up about a scooter, they think we're on mopeds and think we should be at the side of the road and they push us in the grass verge. And that Spider Nugent is a knobhead in Coronation Street.
On Two Wheels next week, BMW's Cruiser, a visit to a twin-shock motocross. And there's of course more from Tommy Topbox and more bikers getting things off their chest in Metalhead.